Hey, knowledge seekers, welcome back. We have got a fast-paced session for today. We are running through some of the important and most crucial multiple choice questions covering the learning, psychology, and education, the absolute essentials. Grab a notebook. Let's see how sharp you are pedagogical knowledge regard. So, child psychology and pedagogy multiple choice questions one by one, discovering the truth of questions. Okay, be ready. First question is this is according to Vygotsky, which factor strongly influences children's learning? This question is repeated in Karnataka TET 2022. So, among these options, which is the correct one that we are seeing here? Physical factors, social factors, or moral factors, or none of the above? Which is the correct one among these A, B, and C, D? Which is the correct one? Anybody? The correct answer is this is the correct answer. Social factors. Why social factor is a correct one? Because Vygotsky prominently based the theory on social factors. So here, what is social factors? Social factors are included socialization, samajikarana, then age of infancy or an stage of infancy, ಶೈಶಾವಸ್ಥೆ, continues throughout the life ಜೀವನ ಪರ್ಯಂತ ನಡೆಯುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ. Classroom environment, contact with peers, ಸಹಪಾಠಿಗಳ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ is noted as the specific factor that aids in the development of a student's personality, ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ. The process of humanity, ಮಾನವೀಯತೆ, is classified as a mental process, ಮಾನಸಿಕ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ, that involves the internal feelings or an experiences rather than social process. So that is why this is the correct answer to this question. Second question is, who first studied the stages of children's cognitive development? So here the important step is cognitive development, that who studied the stages of children's cognitive development, that we are called in Kannada Jnanatmaka Vikasa. So first one is Kohlberg, B. E.V. Tishner, C. Albert Bandura, D. Jean Piaget. So which is the correct answer among all? Because these all four options are there. No, Kohlberg is there, or maybe Tishner is there, or Albert Bandura is there, or maybe last one, that is a Piaget. So according to you, which is the correct answer? The correct answer is exactly, that is a great man of educational psychology, Jean Piaget, is the correct answer, because when cognitive development is mentioned there, that Jean Piaget comes to mind. He studied the stages of cognitive development, including the sensory motor stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational stage. So that's why the correct answer is Jean Piaget. Next question. What is the question? Question is, who is the proponent of observational learning? Vikshana Kalike. So, proponent among A, B, C, and D. Who is the proponent of Vikshana Kalike or observational learning? One is Pavlov, B. Bloom, C. Albert Bandura, and D is B.F. Skinner. Who is the correct answer according to you? Because that all these four are important persons only. The correct answer is exactly Albert Bandura is the correct answer to this question, because that Albert Bandura is an proponent of observational learning And according to him, learning by observation is also attributed by or attributed to Albert Bandura only. So that's why he is the correct answer. What is the fourth question? Yes. Which law of the Thorndike's learning principles related to the law of use and disuse? Upayoga ಮತ್ತು ಅನುಪಯೋಗ. This question is asked 2024 Karnataka. So remember, maybe this time testing on you. So, which are the options? First, see, one is a law of effect, parinama niyama, law of exercise, abhyasa niyama, law of readiness, tata niyama, law of procedure. These all are the important options are given to question is regard, and among that four, which is the correct answer. So all these are the options are given here. Among that, which is the correct answer? Which is the correct answer? Correct answer is B. What is that B? B is law of excess. Abhyasa niyama is the correct answer because Edward Lee Thorndike is proposed the law of effect, the law of exercise, law of readiness. The concept of use and disuse is related to the law of exercise. That's why this law of exercise abhyasa niyama is the correct. Next question. Fifth question, what type of learning Ivan Petrovich Pavlov provides? So here, Ivan Petrovich Pavlov, which type of learning principle he is given to us? One is operant conditioning, trial and error learning, classical conditioning, or Shastriya Anubandhana Kalike, the insight learning. Which is the correct answer? The correct answer is C. Classical conditioning, Shastriya Anubandhana Kalike is the correct answer. Ivan Pavlov propagated this theory of classical conditioning. So this is the correct answer. Next question is who gave the theory of trial and error learning? So one is Jean Piaget, P.F. Skinner, Thorndike, or Ivan Pavlov. Which is the correct among these four? That is a Thorndike is the correct answer. C is the correct answer because Thorndike provided the trial and error learning principle. So that is the correct answer. Next question is who are the proponents of learning by doing? ಮಾಡಿ ಕಲಿತತ್ವದ ಪ್ರವರ್ತಕರು ಯಾರು? Pestalozzi, Montessori, John Dewey, P.F. Skinner. Among these all, which is the correct answer? That is a C1. John Dewey is the correct answer because John Dewey is the proponent of the learning by doing principle. That's why this is the correct answer. Next question, that is eighth question. The Gestalt theory is related to which subject or in which concept? Trial and error, classical conditioning, insight learning theory, or ಒಳನೋಟ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತ, or observational learning. Which is the correct answer? Correct answer is C only. What is that? Insight ಒಳನೋಟ ಕಲಿಕೆ. Insight learning, that ಒಳನೋಟ ಕಲಿಕೆ is the correct answer, and that Gestalt theory is related to the insight learning theory only. That is why this is the correct answer. Ninth question. Whose saying is? Whose saying is? What is the saying? Learning is the lifelong process. Kabira, Albert Bandura, John Dewey, D.El Thorndike. Among these four options, C is correct answer. That is John Dewey is the correct answer. Why? The statement learning is a lifelong process ಕಲಿಯುವಿಕೆ antavilla, because it is attributed by the John Dewey only. So that is the final answer, that child development pedagogy is the continuous process of learning. Next question is 10th one. What is the 10th question? Which concept indicates the development or an vikasa? Hereditary, intelligence, age, or an personality, vyakti? What is that concept of indicates the development? ಪರಿಕಲ್ಪನೆ, that the ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ that is the D is the correct answer, because the personality or in the vyaktitva in the child, that psychologically development or in the vikasa is very important, and the important topic is that vyaktitva or in personality, and it is indicated through the personality and vyaktitva only. That is why this is the correct answer. Next question: the period from birth to 2 weeks, 0 weeks to 2 weeks. Here, 0 weeks to 2 week is called as childhood, balyavaste. B, infancy, hasuletana. C, late childhood, uttara balyavaste. And D, stage of infancy, shaishavaste. So, by these 0 to 2 weeks means which period? General think, what is that? Is a which period is coming? So correct answer is the stage of infancy, Desha is the correct answer, because the period from birth to 2 week is known as the stage of infancy or in Sheshavasthe, because of the great Elizabeth Horlock emphasized the stage of child in the development of psychological book. Next question. So 12th question. What is the 12th question? Which process? So here, which process starts in the infancy, ಶಿಶಾವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾದ, and it continues throughout life, ಪರ್ಯಂತ ನಡೆಯುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಯಾವುದಿದು? ಮೆಮೊರಿ, ವೃತ್ತಿ, or creativity, ಸೃಜನಶೀಲತೆ, or attitude, ಮನೋಭಾವ, or socialization, magic? Which is among these four? The correct answer to this question is samajik. That is socialization. Socialization or in the samajikarna is the process that begins in infancy and continues throughout the life. That's why it's the correct. That is 13th. What is the 13th question? So here, which institution provides initial education? Prarambhika Shikshana, each child. So, whenever a child is coming on the earth, comes to the whole world from the mother's womb, and that time, this Prarambhika Shikshana or an initial education is got from Kanbadi or primary school or in the father or the family or kutumba. Which is the correct option to this question among these four? So, among this, which is the correct answer? The correct answer, yes, exactly. Anybody? Exactly correct. D is the correct answer, because family or in the kutumba is the child's first receives the initial education in the family, and the saying goes, home is the first school and the mother is the first guru. The child learns the crawling or in the speaking primarily in the family only. So that is why this is the correct answer. So here, next, that is 14th question. What is the 14th question? So here, 14th question, according to Jean Piaget, what is the nature of child's language? So here, nature of child's language initially: father centered, environmental centered, egocentric, aham kendrikrita, or mother centered. This the correct answer is egocentric. aham kendrikrita. Because Jean Piaget stated that the child's language initially is egocentric. That's why this is the correct answer. Next question, 15th question. What is the 15th question? What is the reason why same lesson? What is the reason why the same lesson taught in the class is not understood in the same way by all students? So, first one is a lack of opinion, variation in the teaching skills, influence of heredity, the individual difference, व्यक्तित्व भिन्नते. The correct answer, individual difference. Because class is a miniature of society, and that time various interested students, various IQ based students are different. So not all students are possesses same level of intelligence, referring the students who learn slowly or quickly in variations are due to the individual difference. So that is why answer is correct one. So next question is 16th. What is the question? According to Piaget, what is the number of cognitive stages in childhood? So, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So, which is the correct answer? Correct answer is C, that is a 4 is the correct, because Jean Piaget indicated 4 stages. That stages are sensory motor stage, pre-operational stage, concrete operational stage, and formal operational. That's why this answer is the correct one. 17th 17th question. What is the 17th question? 17th question is, so here, at which stage is curiosity kutuhala highest in the infancy, adolescence, primary school stage, or late childhood? Among these 4, which is the correct one? Which is the correct one? The correct answer is primary school stage. So here, the curiosity is highest in children during the primary. That's why this is the correct answer. Next question. 18th question. The 18th question. What is the main characteristic of the stage of adolescence? ತರುಣ್ಯಾವಸ್ಥೆ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಲಕ್ಷಣ ಯಾವುದು? Dependence, frustration, self-esteem, sense of independence, then swatantra, abhimana, and D1 is a curiosity. Which is the correct one? Correct one is, yes, correct one. Anybody? Try your level best. Which is the correct one? Which is the correct one? So here, which is the correct means here the third one is there. What is the third one? Self-esteem, sense of independence, swatantra abhimana is the main answer this question, because self-esteem or in sense of independence, swatantra abhimana is the main characteristic of the stage of adolescence. Only we are seeing puberty or in stress and storm period. That's why this is the correct. Next one. So this 19th question. What is that? What is child psychology? Issue. Manovidyana andre ಏನು? What is child psychology? A. Study of brain, study of physical growth. C. Study of children's behavior and thinking. And D. One is study of classroom management. Which is the correct one? So, among all these, the correct answer is study of children's behavior and thinking. The correct answer, because child psychology is the study of children's behavior and thinking. That is why this is the correct answer. Next question, 20th question is, which factor aids in the development of a student's personality? Which? The main teacher's guidance, study materials, contact with the peers, or sahapatiಗಳ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ, then intelligence. Among these four, which is the correct one? Correct answer is C. What is the C? Contact with the peers, ಸಹಪಾಠಿಗಳ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ, aids in the development of a student's personality. Association with good people can lead one to become a good person. So that's why this is the correct answer. And that time, assessment, evaluation, and teaching practice, these all are played very important role. So next question, 21st. What is the question? So in this question, which of the following is not the purpose of conducting a unit test, Ghataka Pariksha? So what is not purpose of conducting the unit test? Why? One, understanding difficulty in learning, understanding the level of teaching, the evaluating the progress learning, the promoting students to the next class, ಭರ್ತಿ ನೀಡುವುದು. So among these all, which is the correct answer? And which is the correct answer? That correct answer is, anybody's try your level best to which your mind suggest. Why not that purpose? That is fourth one answer is the correct answer, and that is promoting students to the next class, ಭರ್ತಿ ನೀಡುವುದು. What is promoting to? So here, promoting students to the next level, next grade, or in class is not the objective to conducting the unit. And remaining are correct. So that is why this answer is not the purpose. Unit that promoting to the next class is not taking the unit test. In regular, we are seeing that the at the end. But here, students promoted to the next class is not purpose. So that unit is not conducting. Maybe an annual exam. So that time, essay is not, essay 2 only we are conducting to promote the class. But unit, after the end of unit complete, are you understood or not? Students are understood or not? That we are testing here. But the question is, which is the following is not the purpose of conducting the unit test. So understanding the difficulties, yes. Understanding the level of teaching, yes. Evaluating the progress, the learning, yes. But this is a not correct one, not purpose, because here the next class we are promoting. So that is why it is the correct answer. What is the second question? Which factor aids group study in the classroom? What is that? Factor and group study in the classroom? A. Case study, Vyaktitva Adhyayana. B. Action research, Kriya Samshodhane. C. Remedial teaching or Parihara Bodhane. D. Sociometric teaching, Samajamiti, Alekha or Adhyayana. Which is the correct answer according to you? That is, anybody? Which is the correct answer? The correct answer is try your level best. I am only giving that all the answers, but you try your level best. The answer is O metric. Samajamiti Alekha, the correct answer, because here the students are making that technique of group study activity. The sociometric technique is used when the evaluating the students collectively or testing them in the classroom as a group. That's why correct. What is the question? Which of the following is not criterion or could should be excluded? So excluded. Healthy discussion take place. Teachers may allow one or two students dominate the class, or even only one student should be allowed to speak at a time. Implied discussion is relevant. So which is the correct according to your? Which is the correct one? See, there are four options are given. Try your level best to which is the correct one. That such, because that is particularly good and criterion. The main thing capacity. The correct answer is there. No, this is correct answer. Teachers may allow one or two students dominate the discussion. Is the main answer, and here one or two students are dominate the discussion level, and that time this explanation or this question is allowing one or two students to discuss with it dominantly and is not characteristics of good discussion. Discussion means normally, but it dominantly means it is not. So that's why correct. Next one, 24th question. What is the question? What is the observation method? So first one is observing students in a controlled lab, artificial observation behavior, C1 natural observation of children behavior, ಮಕ್ಕಳ ನೈಸರ್ಗಿಕ ವರ್ತನೆ. Next one is analyzing student work samples. Correct. Which is the correct one? C1 is the correct answer, because so here what is the answer? Natural observation of students behavior, ಮಕ್ಕಳ ನೈಸರ್ಗಿಕವಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ವರ್ತನೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ, that's why natural observation of children behavior is the correct answer, and that method means natural observation of the children, that children is not having any precautions or an notice, so that naturally so here 25th question, which method should teachers use? Encourage method should use the student teacher to encourage the student. Punishment, to feedback, positive reinforcement, ಧನಾತ್ಮಕ ಬಲವರ್ಧನೆ, the D1, ignoring good behavior. So which is the correct one? Correct answer is this, positive reinforcement. ಧನಾತ್ಮಕವಾದಂತಹ ಬಲವರ್ಧನೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. What are the ಧನಾತ್ಮಕ ಬಲವರ್ಧನೆ? Reinforce. So here teachers should use the positive reinforcement, very good, excellent, or maybe in claps, appreciation children for their good activities, encourage them and provide the stimulation for greater learning. That's why correct. Next question is 26th question. What is the 26th question? Why is ಲೆಸನ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಪಾಠದ ಪೂರ್ವ ತಯಾರಿ necessary for teacher. So to impress the headmaster, to reduce class time, to teach the lesson effectively, ಪರಿಣಾಮಕಾರಿ ಬೋಧಿಸಲು, or D1 is there, to avoid parent. So these all options are there. Among, according to your knowledge, your personality, what options you are selecting for this? Why the lesson plan is needed? The answer is, what is the C? Is to teach the lesson effectively. What is effectively? So here, that teacher is played very important role for which concept he is selecting for profounding deep knowledge, effective knowledge, successful knowledge. That time to teach the lesson effectively, the correct option. ಪರಿಣಾಮಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ತಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಹೊಗಳಬೇಕು, ಮಕ್ಕಳು ತಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಆರಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗಾಗಿ ನೀವು ತ್ಯಾಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ತ್ಯಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾಠವನ್ನ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಪಾಠವನ್ನ ವಿಸ್ತೃತವಾಗಿ ಬೋಧನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಡೀಪ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ, ಸ್ಟಿಮ್ಯುಲೆಂಟ್ಲಿ, ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ take TLMs in various ways. That lesson plan is making you all preparation in the plan, and that is a crucial for the teaching learning process to proceed actively and effectively in the classroom. So the parinamakari bodhane C is the correct. Next question. What is the question? So here the question is, what does evaluation mean? Evaluation means what? Here, conducting test, giving grades, evaluation of learning kalikeya ಮೌಲ್ಯಮಾಪನ, then testing achievement only. That is the correct answer. Among these four options, which is the correct option? Yes, C is the correct option. So here, C, what is C? Evaluation of learning. So ಮೌಲ್ಯಮಾಪನ, ಕಲಿಕೆಯ ಮೌಲ್ಯಮಾಪನ. Evaluation. What evaluation of evaluation of learning is nothing but that whatever you taught in the classroom, 45 minutes of learning is took place. On that only you must ask your students are learned or not, they grasped or not. Whatever you taught out of framework of the or they are grasped all. Very, very important. 28th question. What is the 20? So here, what is the instrument is used to measure a student's educational? So which instruments are using for measuring the student? One is the sociometry, observation, case study, or test, instrument test. So parikshe, which is the correct answer among all these? So that time maybe pariksha or in sadhana pariksha or maybe in that. The correct answer is, anybody? D is the correct answer. So here D is what? D is test or an achievement test, or students whatever they are making that we are making the various instrument that we are using for measuring the instrument played very tests or in particular that played very making the students upgradations for subject matter in the class. 29th question. What is the question? What is peer teaching? ಸಹಪಾಠಿ ಬೋಧನೆ ಎಂದರೇನು? One is teacher instructing, B, parent teaching the child, parent teaching the child, C,
a method where a student teaches another student. D. Teaching using audio visual aids. So, among these four, the correct one. Which is the correct one among these? Teacher instructing, or maybe in parents teaching, or maybe in student to students, or in a method where the students are teachers teaching one another, or in teaching using the various multimedias, or in the static models, or in teaching aids. All these are there. Among that, the correct answer. So, which is the C1 is the correct answer, because here a method where a student teaches another student, that is the peer teaching. Here, no any other persons are coming. Here, we first understand the word peer means what. Here, teacher students is not called as a peer. So, you must understand. First, a method where a student teaches another student is called as a. That's why C is the correct answer. So, here, a peer teaching, the pair of teaching. One student. So this method is where the student teaches another student, which helps the learning become more effective, because they are peer only, and they are smiley, or in the talking, or in the discussion, they easily the concept. That's why peer teaching is very important. So here, next question is there. What is that next question? 30th question. How should teachers run errors? Errors are always in the classroom. So how teachers should view the students' error? As a sign of failure, as a mistakes to be punished, as a opportunities for improvement, ಸುಧಾರಣೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಒದಗಿಸುವುದು, or as a reflection of poor teaching. Answer. So correct answer is that makes here one of the important that we are seeing here. Which is the correct one? Yes. Which is the correct? Anybody try? Which is the correct one? I'm only telling you, try your level best. So correct answer is C. Which is correct answer is C1. What is that C1? What the question? How should teachers view a student's error? Teachers should view the errors of students as an opportunity for improvement. ಸುಧಾರಣೆಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಒದಗಿಸ, ಅವರಲ್ಲಿರುವ ದೋಷಗಳನ್ನ, errors we must understand and get it as improvement, as opportunity for the improvement. So that time these errors are always going on in students life in the classroom, and that must opportunity for, so students are making an error as an opportunity for improvement in language ಇರಬಹುದು, ಅದು mathematics ಇರಬಹುದು, social science ಇರಬಹುದು, so science ಇರಬಹುದು. So that time errors are doing, so as an opportunity the teachers view framework. Next question is the 31st you. So here the question is given at the end of lessons are for what purpose. So here given at the end of a lesson are what, for what purpose. So what is the first questions given at the end of a lesson? So end of the lesson you are giving the questions, what are that? Are for what purpose? So one, to assign home, to judge the teacher's skill, for recapitulation or in review, punaravalokanna. Last one is to test memorization. So which is the correct answer to this? So here the correct answer is, what is C? So recapitulation or in a review, punaravalokana, is regard we are giving that the question after the ending one at the lesson. So here are given at the end in any class lessons for recapitulation, we are giving to the determine how effective the lesson was for the, that is why it is called as a recapitulation. Next question is What is the fourth stage of memory? Or in A, announcement, ಜ್ಞಾಪನೆ, retention, recall, ಪುನಸ್ಮರಣೆ, D, recognition, abhignana. So among these four, correct answer to this question, yes, retention is there, or an recall is there, or an recognition is there. Which is the correct one? Try your little best. Yes, the correct answer is a recall. Punarsmarane. Yes, which is the correct answer? Correct answer is D1. Recognition. What is recognition? The fourth stage of memory is recognition. So that's why correct answer. Next question. In a community, level of intelligence quotient IQ holders are the most the dull, second one is a below average, above average, and average ordinary intelligence that we are seeing. The correct among the correct one is, yes, correct one is fourth one. Average, ordinary, intelligent, ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತರು. Average is the answer, the correct answer, because of here ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತರು ಅಥವಾ average intelligent or an ordinary, the correct, because in a community average intelligent people are typically seen the most. This is a average of society. These are extrovert, these are dull. So you understood. Next question, 34th question. What is the 34th question? What is the process that develops interest if the students are needed to be and create the interest in the study or in the learning that time intelligent? What is the process that develops the interest? Intelligent, experience, motivation. Fourth one is attitude. So among all these, which is the correct answer? So here the correct answer is maybe attitude or a motivation. Try. Which is the correct answer? I'm telling you, the correct answer is motivation. Prerani. Why prerani is played a very important role? This motivation is the process that develops the interest student, and that time the student is always raising his hand, or and he is a speed in writing, or and he is fluently answering your question. Next question is, what is the basic element of learning? ಕಲಿಕೆಯ ಮೂಲ ಅಂಶ ಯಾವುದು? One is learning, intelligence, experience, ಅನುಭವ, or practice. Which is the correct answer? Among his experience or in the practice, the correct answer, or different one is? The correct answer is that is experience. Anubhava is played very important role, because experience is the basic element for the learning. Without that, we are not possible to grasp the difficult or an easy tasks easy. 36th question. What is the 36th question? So question is, what is the full form of IQ? Visual query, internal quotient, intelligence quotient, buddhi mahapaka pramana, buddhi shakti suchanka, or D1 item quality. Which is the correct one? The correct answer is easy. Anybody try your level best? What is this? It is individual query, or an intelligence quotient, buddhi mahapaka or pramana, or buddhi shakti suchanka. I'm telling here hint only, but you are not understanding. Yes, correct answer is, this is correct answer. What is that? Intelligent, buddhi mahapaka pramana, or buddhi shakti suchanka is the correct answer. You are understood, maybe because I am given the hint, but you are not replying. Try your level best to reply in a comment. You are easily giving the answers to me. IQ stands for intelligence, sentient, buddhimapaka, pramana, or buddhist. Next question, 37th question. Okay. So, question is, in psychology, what does memory mean? A, the power to forget. The ability to remember learned subject matter. C, the ability to ignore the information. D1, ability to criticize. Which is the correct answer? Anybody? The correct answer. Try. It is easy question. The correct answer is B. What is the B? The ability to remember learned subject matter is called as in psychology smriti or smriti means in Kannada it is free in English. Okay. So this is the B is the correct answer. Why memory is the uh, correct answer? Because the ability to remember learned subject matter, memory involves types of memory. One, that memory is smriti, and forgetting, that vismriti, which means marevu. So these two are the two faces of the same, marevu and smriti. Okay. So next question we are going to challenge. Yes, try your level. Yes. Which is the question? 38th question. What factors cause aggressive behavior? Akramanashila vartane. What is the factors that causes to the aggressive behavior? The positive reinforcement, or in frustration, or in high curiosity, and D1, high intelligence. Among these, which is the correct answer? Yes, which is the correct answer? The correct answer for aggressive behavior, that is frustration. The correct answer, because in the frustration is the factor that causes aggressive behavior. That's why this is the correct answer. Next one, 39th question. Through which method do children learn? Which method you are easily applying? Reading method, or an experience method, or an practical method? So here, first one is the listening, second one is the reading, third one is co-experience, anubhavada mulaka. Next one is observation. Among all these four, which is the correct answer uh, for method to children learn most? So correct answer is, that is anubhavada. Through experience, the children learn the most this powerful weapon. That is a experience makes man perfect. Next question, 40th question. What is the 40th question? 40th question. Who framed the intelligence test? ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಮಾಪಕ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆನ ಯಾರು ತಯಾರಿಸಿದರು, ಯಾರು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಿದರು? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಜಾನ್ ಡಿವೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ಯಾವ್ಲೋ, ಥೊರ್ನ್ಡೈಕ್ and B.F. Skinner, Alfred Binet or Simon, or Albert Bandura and Jean Piaget? Which among these four the correct answer? Correct answer, anybody? The correct answer is Albert Binet and Simon. The correct answer for this question, because the intelligence test was framed by the Alfred Binet and Simon. So that's why is correct one. So next question is, what is the next question? The process of humanity, manaviyate, is what kind of process? Humanity is what kind of process? A is a physical process, daihika, biological process, mental process, manasika prakriya. Fourth one is the social process. So among this, which is the correct one? Mental process is manasika prakriya is played very important role, because humanity involves the internal feeling or an experience and is a mental process, not a physical process, which relates to the body or mind. That's why this is the correct answer. Next question is 42nd question. What is an obstacle to a student's progress? So, what are the problems, hurdles are there in the progress of the students? A1 is a highly challenging syllabus, unfavorable environment, ananukula parisara, and excessive parental involvement, and strict teachers. Among these, which is the correct answer? Among these, unfavorable environment, ananukula parisara is the correct answer because unfavorable environment can be an obstacle to a student to progress because that is the main hurdle. But if the good environment is also played very important role to progress up. But here unfavorable environment, unfavorable, but favorable makes that students shining in his. So here favorable, unfavorable is played very important. You must take into favorable and unfavorable. So answer is unfavorable. Ananukula parisara leads to be an hurdle in next question. What is that question? What is the role of motivation? Prerane education. Very important question and very easy question. This without this motivation, we are not possible to control the class and win the hearts of the kids. That's why it is a played very important role. That is a motivation or in prerane. Without a prerane, that the blank slates are not possible. Colorful. That's why be serious. That the vitamin for the teacher. So, which option is correct according to manage the class to complete the syllabus quickly or to increase the enthusiasm for learning? ಕಲಿಕೆಯ ಉತ್ಸಾಹ ಹೆಚ್ಚು. Then T1 is there to punish the student. Very nice options are given and properly and give the correct choice. So, which is the correct answer? Ah, easy question. Why you are not try your level best? So, correct. To increase the enthusiasm for learning, ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ಸಾಹವನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸಲು motivation is played very important role. Without motivation, we are not possible. So that is why it is a main hub. That is why it is called as a main role for the motivation education, that to increase the enthusiasm for the kids of your class. So next question is child psychology to monovidyana. The branch of method, the branch of pedagogy of education science, Shikshana Shastra, or it is the branch of biology. Which is the correct answer to child psych? So correct answer is pedagogy. So Shikshana Shastra, the correct answer. That child pedagogy branch of a pedagogy of science education. So next question. The word education originated from which Latin word? Which Latin word? Educatum, educare, educator. So, which is the correct answer? Easy question that framed for you. Which is the correct one? The correct answer is, I'm only giving the correct answer. You don't try. So, B is the correct answer because the word educate originated from Latin word educare. Educare. So, next question is, what is the ultimate goal of it? Getting job, achieving high grades, or complete personality development, Sampurna Vyaktitva Vikasa, or memorizing the facts? Which is the correct answer according to this? Is also an easy question. Answer right. Yes, complete personality development, Sampurna Vyaktitva Vikasa. This is the correct answer because the ultimate goal of education complete personality development. That's why the correct answer. Understood? Next question. Yes. Next question is Montessori education. Montessori education principle emphasizes what? What emphasizes? Control, group instruction, self-learning, swayam kalike, rote memorization. The correct answer. Which is the correct answer? C is the correct. What is C? Swayam kalike or self-learning is the correct answer. The Montessori education system emphasizes the self-learning Swakalike or Swayam Kalike. That's why this is the correct answer. So next question is, in which year was the National Education Policy first published? First time published in year? A 1947, B 1986, and C 2020, and D 1908. Which is the correct answer? The correct answer, NEP, National Education Policy. National Education Policy is the correct word, 1968. That is the correct answer because the National Education Policy was the first time published this year in 1968 only. That is correct answer, not. So I'm going to the next slide. What is the next slide? So here, what is the meaning of secondary? Prouda Shiksha. First one is after higher secondary education, after primary education, education, vocational education, or here. Which is the correct answer? So, which is the correct answer? Correct answer, after primary is the correct. The answer is the answer. The option is the correct answer because secondary education, high school, means the education that comes after the primary. Next question. It is a option. The principle of free and compulsory primary, the part of which right? Right to library, right to equality, right to education RT Act, right to information. Which is the correct answer? Which is the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer. Yes, exactly. All know that because you are popular in RT, right to education. Played very important role, and that principle of free and compulsory is a part of the right act, RT Act. It is a popular. What is the question? What is the main role of the teacher? Lecture, evaluator, guidance, margadarshana, and disciplinarian. What is the correct answer? Disciplinarian or in lecture? Which is the correct one? Margadarshana is the correct one. Correct answer is margadarshana. Is the correct answer because the primary role of teacher is guidance or making the students in a proper torch way, improving the subject, all of the and improve the personality. Next question. So here, what is the educational technology? Using computers for grading or the use of technology like an audiovisual aids, a radio projector in the education process for only teachers training programs or developing new curriculum. Which is the correct one? The correct answer is go through this. What is the main content? So is the use of technology, all these classroom like audiovisual, radio, or in transparency, slides, projector, or 13 projector, or 17 projector, or interactive panel, or maybe in computers. These all includes and that time educational technology refers all these and such as is all, and without that we are not possible to do the effective teaching or an easy teaching or variations of IQ is there in the classroom. They all understanding through this only. That's why this played very important role. Next one is, so here, what is the objective of inclusive? What is the objective of inclusive? Samavishita. One is educating only gifted students, educating students with disabilities separately, equal opportunity for all students. ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಸಮವಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ನೀಡುವುದು ಅವಕಾಶ. Educating only slow learner. The correct answer. Yes. Anybody? Which is the correct answer? Which is the correct answer? Yes. Huh? The correct. What is C? C is equal opportunities for all students. ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಸಮಾನವಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ನೀಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. The objective of inclusive education to provide equal opportunity for all students. No any partiality. All students are equal only. That's why correct option. Next, here, that what is the main? What is the main aspiration of NCF National Curriculum Framework to what is aspiration? First one, teacher-centered learning, rote learning, or curriculum management, or child-centered learning, ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕೃತ ಕಲಿಕೆ. Which is the correct one? So here, from these four, this is the correct one. That is ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕೃತ ಕಲಿಕೆ is the main aspiration of National Curriculum Framework 2005 child-centered learning. Next question. So here, what is the objective of the SSA Sarva Shiksha Abhiyana program? So first one is secondary education for all, higher education for all, or primary education for all, or in vocational education training for all. Which is the correct answer? So Sarva, you first understand. So correct answer, primary education for all is the correct answer, because the objective of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan program is a primary education for all. That is why this is the correct. Next question. What is that question? So here, in which year was the RT Act, Right to Act enforced? 2005, 2009, 2011, 1968. Which is the correct answer? 9 or an 11, which is or 68. Yes, it is asking. The exact answer is B is the correct answer, and that is 2000 is the correct answer, because the Right to Education Act was implemented and enforced in the year of 2009, and this is noted as an important and a repeated question in forthcoming also. This we remember. Next question. So here, in which year was the NCERT established? A 1968, B 2005, 1, and A 1986. Which is the correct answer? Yes, try your real best. Which is the correct answer? The correct answer, because NCERT was established in the year of 1960. That's why the correct answer. So next question. What is the full name of DIET? That Department and Training. B District Institute of Evaluation and Testing. C District Institute of Education and Training. And D1 Directorate of Education and Training. So which is the correct answer? The correct answer Directorate of Training. The correct answer is District Institute of Education and Training. The correct answer is not Directorate, because DIET stands for District Institute of Education and Training. Yes, not Directorate. So, next question is, what is the objective of the RMSA scheme? So, first one is improving the primary education quality. B, improving higher education quality. C, improvement of quality of secondary education. ಪ್ರೌಢ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಗುಣಾತ್ಮಕದ ಆ, ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಸುಧಾರಣೆಗಾಗಿ. Next one is, sir, which is the correct answer? Answer, this is the correct one. C is the correct answer. That is improvement of the quality of secondary education. ಪ್ರೌಢ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಸುಧಾರಣೆಗಾಗಿ is the correct answer, because RMSA scheme is intended for the improvement of the quality of secondary education. Yes. Next question. What is the question? Yes, this is a question. What does KCF stands for? Kerala Curriculum Framework, Karnataka Common Factor, Karnataka Curriculum Framework, or Karnataka Central. Correct. Which is the correct answer? Karnataka Curriculum Framework is called as KCF. Right? Which is the correct one? Yes, exactly. Karnataka. This is the correct answer. Karnataka Curriculum Framework is the KCF stands. Yes, exactly correct. Next question. What is the question? The formation of the school management committee, SDMC or SMC, is mandated under which act? So one is NEP 1968, NCF 2005, RTE Act 2009, and RMSA scheme. Which is the correct answer? Correct answer is yes. RTE Act 2009. Which is the correct answer? Yes. RTE Act 9 is the correct answer. And so that the school management committee, SMC or in SDMC, was founded under the RTE Act 2000. Exactly correct. Your imagination, my imagination is also same. So, next question. From which year did the teacher eligibility test TET? So, which year teacher eligibility test? That is in the forthcoming days, or in maybe a week, or maybe a month. These tests are in various states are conducting according to their schedule. And what is the T? In which year it be? First one, 2009, B 2011, 14, D 2000. Which year is the correct answer? Which is the correct year? B, the correct answer. B, I. B is the correct answer. Exactly. Because the teacher eligibility test TET began from the year of 2011. That's why this is the correct answer. Next question. The fundamental right to education is included under which article? Article 19, Article 20, Article 21A, Article 45. Which is the correct? The correct answer, anybody try your level best. It is easy question. Article, only you identify which is the correct one. Article 21A is the correct answer. Article 21A is the correct answer, because the fundamental right to education is included under the Article 21A. That's why this is the correct answer. So next question. What is the question? Spoke the line Guru Govind Khade implied meaning. Who is greater, the Guru or God Govinda? So, John Dewey, Vygotsky, Kabir, Thorndike. So, imagine this is a Hindi word. Who is the person won this Guru Govind Khade? So, answer right. You are exactly correct. Kabir is the line maker. Guru Govind Khade attributed to Kabir only. Next question. So, next question. What instrument is used to measure a student's academic standing? The instrument measures that academic means. One is geometry, self assessment, achievement test, sadhana pariksha, prabh. Which is the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer. Tell no anybody. Which is the correct answer? The correct answer is sadhana pariksha or an observation. Which is the correct answer? Yes, exactly. Or an sadhana pariksha. The correct answer was to measure a student's educational achievement. An achievement test or sadhana pariksha is the typically conducting. That's why the correct. So next question is, in psychology, what is the meaning of Kruti? The forgetting is in psychology what it's called. The ability to learn quickly, the power of recognition, or marevu or forgetting, or the power of recollection. What is the correct answer? The correct answer, anybody? The correct answer, marevu or in forgetting. Because that memory smriti includes two types, smriti and vismriti. Vismriti specifically means that marevu or in forgetting. That is why this is the correct answer, not Smriti. Vismriti is the correct answer. E.L. Thorndike's principal laws of learning include the law of effect, the law of readiness, and which third major law? Third major law is law of insight, law of procedure, कार्यकारिणी नियम or law of exercise, abhyasa niyama, law of which is the correct third law? Anybody? Which is that third law of Thorndike's third law? The law of exercise, abhyasa niyama, is the correct option for your correct answer, because Thorndike proposed the law of effect, parinama niyama, law of readiness, siddhata niyama, and the law of exercise, abhyasa niyama. So be ready, be ready, be remember these three. Yes. Next step. Yes. Next slide. Not step. What is that? In this slide, according to in Piaget stages of cognitive development, what is the name of the first stage? So remember, according to Piaget's stages of cognitive development, what is the name of first stage? So first stage, pre-operational stage, Karya Purva Hanta. Second one is a concrete operational stage, Murta Karya Hanta. Then sensory motor stage. Then formal operational stage, Aupacharika Karya Hanta. So which is the correct answer among these four? So try Aupacharika Karya Hanta is the correct answer. Yes. Sensory motor stage is the correct Stage, which stage? That first to which Piaget's first stage, sensory motor stage. Piaget's cognitive stages start with the sensory motor that we called as a Vedana Gati Hanta. Yes, are you understood now? Next question. So here, what does the physical process when contrasted with current mental process primarily related to internal feeling, the body or the muscles or ಸ್ನಾಯುಗಳ ವ್ಯಾಯಾಮ, intellectual thought, social interaction? Which among these correct answer is anybody? Which is the correct answer? Correct answer. Please try to comment your answers below the my video. Okay. So correct answer is B. The body or the muscles. ಸ್ನಾಯುಗಳ ವ್ಯಾಯಾಮ. The body or the muscles. The body or muscles. The B answer is the correct, and through that we are finalizing. Why? Because the source clarified that manaviyate, humanity, is a mental process, not physical. The physical process, dahika, is religious to the body or in muscle exercises ಸ್ನಾಯುಗಳ ವ್ಯಾಯಾಮದಿಂದ. So that is why this is the correct answer. Next question. Yes, it is, what is the specific term used by the source for the second stage Piaget's cognitive development? So here, a formal operation or pre-operation stage, ಕಾರ್ಯಪೂರ್ವಕ ಹಂತ, ಕಾರ್ಯಪೂರ್ವದ ಹಂತ, sensory motor stage, or operation, the correct one. You also, I am discussing which is the correct one. Concrete operational? Yes. Which is the correct one? Pre-operational stage. ಕಾರ್ಯಪೂರ್ವ ಹಂತ. Why ಕಾರ್ಯಪೂರ್ವ ಹಂತ? Piaget's 4 stages includes the first sensory motor, the second begin with ಕಾರ್ಯಪೂರ್ವ ಹಂತ, pre-operational stage, then the third ಮೂರ್ತ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಹಂತ, and the fourth one is ಔಪಚಾರಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಹಂತ. So the pre-operational stage is a correct one.